Look, I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunger slaying demons. I see fire on this earth coming down like Hiroshima. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cutting. I see Christ, he coming back, and he black, he look like us. I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelites group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus 5:1.
Hey, shalom, Israel, shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to the Late Show, Precept upon Precept. We are, by the way, I ate about a bag of half-priced Halloween candy, which I only bought because it was half-priced. And I'm fired up tonight. Snickers bars, don't really eat that a lot. All praise the Most High. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Mikha'el.
Officer Micah.
Also Iran.
So without further ado, you know how we roll. But before we begin, I'd like each and every one of you, we're on the road to 25 and then 30,000 YouTube subscribers. Please go ahead and subscribe, share, like, bell notification, and also comment. Okay, it affects an algorithm. This way here, we can grow, all right? So with that, we go to the first segment of the show with Officer Micah and the Watchman Report. Take it away.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Not going to hold up the show. Let's go, IT team. Let's get it. Will Palestinian refugees come to the U.S.? Come on now, man. Yeah. All righty. Okay. Pentagon announces new nuclear bomb 24 times more powerful than one dropped on Japan. Let me read that again. Pentagon announces new nuclear bomb 24 times more powerful than one dropped on Japan. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I guess I got a bomb bigger than that. Next article. Airstrikes blast UN shelters. Official says as Israel announces complete encirclement of Gaza City. They bombing them, y'all. We got to keep the commandments. Last one. China is working on a weapon the U.S. decided was too dangerous to exist. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
Yes, welcome, precept upon precept. We are going to go quick tonight. You know, I say the same thing every time to the tech nerds back there. So look, we go too far, 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're going to try to keep it 2 hours or under because that's just too long of a show. So we are going to go right to Officer Mikha'el is going to explain our thumbnail. A lot of thought goes in. I know, Mikha'el, you've been dabbling with AI. Tell us what's going on here.
So, as y'all can see what the title is, Sleeping Dragons Open an Eye, the Theater for War. So what we have here is a depiction of the dragons of Arabia. We have this Islamic Arabic brother here, and his spirit is a dragon. So that's what you're seeing, kind of a half human face, half dragon. And then there's another dragon in the background, as you also see the image of war and destruction, because that's what's in their spirit. That's what they're awaking to. This is a wild man tapping into his spirit, and y'all gonna see that tonight as we get into the show.
All praises. So remember, why do we get the idea for dragons? Because that's from 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Let's get that. Let's open up with that. We're going to jump right in. Gabe, who is a resident, less of a lardback, is actually numbered. They do a great job, by the way. I make fun of him, but Gabe, Asa, Nehemiah, Akim, he's the chief of the department. They do a very good job. All right, so let's get the 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and we're going to read this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
Come on.
Where the nations.
Notice that they say the east. Okay, the white man, so-called white man, came up with the term. I was speaking to an Arab last week at camp. He said the Middle East was never called that. They have a special name for that land. I forget what he said. It's an Arabic word. Read it again.
Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
From the east. Read on.
Where the nation of dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots.
The nations of the dragons of Arabia will come out with many chariots, meaning that's during the time Ezra's chariots were weapons of were tanks of war. Back then they didn't have tanks, so they're going to come out with all type of military weaponry. Read on.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as
it ain't going to just be the Saudi Arabians. It's going to be the Yemenis, the Oman, from United Arab Emirates. It's going to be, there are Turkish Arabs, there are Pakistani Arabs, Afghanistani Arabs. And by the way, we're going to show you tonight, there's Arabs all over the world that are saying free Palestine right now. Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, Houston, Texas, all over. They're going to rise up. It ain't just going to be in the Middle East, but that's a bulk of them. Read on.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
Right. What's 31?
Verse 30.
Yeah, yes, 30.
All right. Verse 30. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath.
That's talking about the Carmanians are the from Iran, Iranians. Read on.
Shall go forth as wild boars of the wood.
If you ever, I'm telling y'all, if you ever watch a hunting video, all right? I work in Louisiana, so you're going to be around it. A wild boar does not care who you, it will come at you. Look, type a wild boar will charge a damn lion if he has to, okay? That's why when leopards hunt wild boars in Africa, they got to come from the top of the cave. They don't want to get hurt. They're not stupid, okay? Read on.
And with great power shall come and join battle with them.
Right, so the Iranians are going to join battle with the sons of Ishmael. Read on.
And shall waste a portion.
And by the way, real quick, there are Arabs in Iran. Okay, read on.
And shall waste a portion of the land of Assyrians.
Right.
Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand.
Why? Because for years they have had the lower hand. They've been disadvantaged. The white man has divided them by interest, divided them by greed, divided them by borders. Read on.
Remembering their nature.
What is their nature? They are wild, like Ishmael. When you read about the 12 princes, he will be wild. We'll read that later on. Read on.
Remembering their nature.
What is their nature? Genesis. We're going to read about it in the book of Genesis. Their nature is wild. So wild. How wild do you say? You hear from the terrorists from the 1960s and 70s and 80s and 90s, Allah Akbar, boom! And that's what you see. That's what they're known for, right? Crazy friggin' blow up themselves, right? Read on.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together.
What is it? Wait, that's important. What does it say?
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great.
Conspiring is a plan. Conspiring together, meaning right now they're not together. They're not. That's why the Saudi Arabians are so damn rich. And they sit back and letting their Arab brothers getting destroyed. Saudi Arabia is right below Gaza. Why? Because they don't remember who they are. Go ahead, Mikha'el.
So it says that they were going to destroy a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Now, that Assyrians in previous times was explained to be talking about the United States. But as waters rising, we understand that that's now talking about the land of Israel.
Correct.
And y'all see what's going on right now with Hezbollah and Hamas. And all the Arabs are starting to conspire. They're starting to conspire to come together like the scripture is saying.
And tonight in the show, we're going to show you that. And that, remember when Bishop brought that out, the least of the flock shall draw them out. And that Israel is the 4th largest military on the planet Earth in a little teeny bit of little country. Why? Because its big brother is part of a bigger flock, and they the big guys. So let's get right to it. I want to have a Edomite telling somebody. I like this guy. This guy can be a a white collar guy when he works for me. If it was where I get the kingdom, I'm gonna give this guy a reasonably kind of a cool job. I like this guy. He's not gonna be a servant, but give me the first one, the Irish dude. Hey, this guy right, if he was a street teacher, teach better than some of you teachers out there. Get the one. Number one. This guy is an Irish political figure, and he's in some sort of parliament room, and he's arguing against Israel. So here's a white guy, pure Edomite, saying, you white guys in Palestine, you're evil. And he's a firecracker.
To correctly use the most strong and robust language to describe the crimes against humanity of Vladimir Putin, but you will not use the same strength of language when it comes to describing Israel's treatment of the Palestinians, when it is now being documented and detailed by two of the most respected human rights organizations in the world.
Pause real quick. So, don't put it on me. The point that he's making, and sometimes you need to hear it from a white dude. The language that they're using for Vladimir Putin, what he's doing, so-called doing, to the Ukrainian citizens is, oh, the children, because it's white children that are being on the receiving end of the death through the war, the casualties of war, not friendly fires. What do they call it, Officer Michael, when you are civilian casualties or non-combatives, they call them. Non-combatives. So this guy's making the point. Why isn't the world up in arms about Palestinian children that are dying, and it's using the horrible language towards the war crimes of Vladimir Putin, but Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, is doing worse, and they're not saying anything about his war crimes. So this guy is just showing you it's not just the Arabs. It's white people all over the earth is pissed. And this guy, play on.
Looks honestly at the decades of brutal, inhumane persecution of the Palestinians, successive assaults on Gaza, the annexation of their land and territory, the systematic application of apartheid rules, you don't want to even use the word apartheid. Never mind sanctions. 5 days sanctions against Putin and his thugs, 70 years of oppression by the Palestinians.
Pause. So listen, this is why the Most High is a master. What Putin's doing is taking back lands, like you mentioned earlier, Mikha'el, was part of the Soviet Union. These bastards, when I say bastards, we can look at Zechariah, these bastards that are in the land, these bastards have been attacking and brutalizing and terrorizing and using apartheid system for over 70 friggin' years. This shows to tell you, white privilege, white people's lives are more important than people that are brown. It just proves it, okay? Now, anybody want to comment on this? I don't want to dominate it. Iran, wake up. Get Iran a Celsius.
Hey, we bring the scripture out all the time when we talk about Gad, how Esau goes back on the treaties. But they're doing the same thing in Israel to the Palestinians, because there were treaties signed that Gaza is going to be this amount of land, but Gaza keeps shrinking and Israel keeps increasing. Every year they're encroaching and taking more and more of that land.
Right. Hey, we showed last week, if y'all check our show out, we researched this stuff, that the wall, it doesn't go straight up. It zigzags. It goes 440 miles, which is longer or taller than the bottom of Louisiana to the very top. It would go into Arkansas. And at some points, it goes over 10 miles and encroaches on Palestinian. That's in the scriptures we read about. When the kingdom shall come, it will be a city without walls. Right now, there's a wall that's going right through our country, Israel. The real Jews, the Israelites. Now, I'm going to switch gears real quick. Next, we're going to go with This Is Heavy. Those of you who are paying attention to the international news, this guy, the Turkish president, his name is Erdogan, okay? This guy is, we're going to watch the whole video. I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes. I'll tell you to skip. This guy had a rally, a pro-Palestinian rally in Istanbul or Constantinople, right? with hundreds of thousands of people, and nobody's reporting it. And if it is, it might be a little snippet. This should be all over. So let's take us up to international news, and let's play.
Rising in West Asia, Turkey has sharpened its attack on Israel. Israel is recalling its diplomatic staff from Turkey. Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen says that he wants to conduct a evaluation of the relations between Israel and Turkey. Israel is furious over President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's who lashed out at its military campaign in Gaza, speaking at a pro-Palestinian rally attended by hundreds of thousands.
Just to get some frame, this gentleman we're about to see, he has a pro-Palestinian part of the flag. I think some of it's the Turkish flag, some of it is the Palestine flag, right? And his name is Erdogan. He is a very powerful president of Turkey, and he has an audience throughout all the central part of Central Asia, where he is seen as a leader of many of the Turkish people. So what he says holds a lot of weight with many of these other countries. What we're going to find out later, right now, Turkey and Iran are used to having closed doors meetings, right? Turkey and Iran are having meetings out in the public.
Right.
And I'm telling you, remember, this is right here. Turkey has Arabs, and the Iranians are talking about the Armenians. These are two very strong forces, both politically and militarily. So now watch what he has to say. We're going to let the whole thing play on. Yeah, Istanbul. They're in Istanbul. See the microphone?
Yep.
Okay. Play.
In Istanbul, Erdogan said the Turkish people were ready to defend West Asia if Western countries try to wage a fight between Christianity and Islam.
I want you to remember the flags have the crescent moon. He makes a statement. He says, okay, so you want this to be about the crescent versus the cross. Because what's going to happen, what's happening now is, before when it was local, it was just Arabs against the Israelis. Mm-hmm. Now it's the entire Muslim world. Irregardless of being an Arab Muslim, now you have Hindu or Indian Muslims or Persian Muslims. You have Turkish Muslims who are infuriated that their Muslim brothers, irrespective of whether they're Arab or not, are being murdered, okay? Criminals, war crime. Look at how many hundreds of thousands of people are demonstrating. Okay,
Cap,
look.
Hey, Cap,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, right, the Turkish people are descendants of the Medes, which the Medes also goes into the Armenians, and with them being part of Iran.
Yes,
Iranians.
there's a mixture. It's going to, later on in the show, there's a guy named Colonel McGregor. He really is going to break it down. To your point, we'll show that. He breaks down the history to thousands of years. McGregor knows what he's talking about. That's why I want McGregor to speak in any national outlet, because he's actually well informed. Now, play.
Netanyahu nasıl teröristse Hamas'ta teröristmiş.
Can we move the damn pause? Is there any way we can move the damn thing? Perfect. Play.
Netanyahu nasıl terör
Yeah, it is. No, it's going to go into subtitles. Yes, it will. I watched the whole thing.
teröristse Hamas'ta teröristmiş.
Pause. There's
right
subtitles right there.
Okay. Just
Read.
as Netanyahu is a terrorist, the opposition says, I'm not sure what that says. Hamas is a terrorist organization as well.
olsun. İsrail biz de seni savaş suç
Israel, we will declare you as a war criminal to the world. Right now, we are making preparations.
suçlusu
Now,
olarak
why is this important? Because remember, it is going to take all of these nations that are going to turn on the U.S. It cannot just be one force. That's why Gaddafi failed. He had no world support. Now, Turkey, a power in that region. Iran, a power in that region. You have Saudi Arabia 3 days ago just said to the United States, if you don't do something, we will. You've got all these forces that realize that the Israelis are war criminals. Play on.
ilan edeceğiz. Ve şimdi bunun
For this,
hazırlığı içindeyiz.
hey Israel, how did you come here? How did you enter here? You are an occupier.
Ya İsrail sen
When
buralara
it reminds me of what the Egyptian president said back in the 50s
No, sir. Yep.
when he
All
said
US here.
y'all, you left here black and you came back white. He's saying the same thing.
So
heavy.
listen, this dude ain't no white dude. This dude comes from Turkish stock, and we're gonna later on. McGregor's gonna clear it up, but watch what he says, or the subtitle.
nasıl girdin? Sen bir işgalcisin.
You are in an organization. The Turkey people know this.
The Turkish people know this.
Sen bir örgütsün. Dolayısıyla Türk milleti bunu biliyor.
I read.
Şair ne diyor? Batı'dan bahsediyorum.
Thousands gather in Istanbul to show solidarity
Gazze'deki
with Palestine.
katliamında en büyük
Erdogan
sorumlusu
urges Israel to stop madness and end Gaza strikes.
ve kararlılık.
Erdogan defends Hamas and lashes out at Israel.
Tamamını birliğin
Israel recalling envoys from Turkey after Aragon's Gaza. I can't read that part, sorry. Remember something. Remarks. Turkish President Erdogan calls out the West, Israel for Gaza massacre. Turkish President Erdogan, okay, here we go. No, it's not thousands, it's hundreds of thousands. It's a huge amount. Okay, so basically in a nutshell, what the president of Turkey is saying, we know your occupiers, we know your war crimes, and they're making plans to do something about it. He said we are preparing. There's another video I had, that too much to post, where it actually translates more, a little bit better. So let's get out of that one. I got a lot of content. Hold me to my time. Hold us to our time. Listen, I love this part. We're gonna get an Israeli historian. Let's go to number 4. We're gonna get the background of this historian. It's Ilan Pappé. Number 4. Ilan Pappé is a former Jewish citizen, and we're gonna read about see if he's qualified to talk about Jewish people, so-called Jewish people. Let's read about him.
Professor Ane Pape, Professor of History, Director of the European Center for Palestine Studies.
So just to be clear, go back up, slow down. He has a PhD, and I thought it should be from Oxford. All right, read on.
Professor Pape obtained his BA degree from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem in 1979 and the D.Phil from the University of Oxford in 1984.
So to explain that, his 4-year college degree was from Hebrew University. So he went to school in Jerusalem. And then years later, he got his D.Phil, is the doctorate in philosophy. The doctorate in philosophy from the University of Oxford. So 5 years later, Oxford is one of the premier schools in the entire place. It's an Ivy League school, Oxford University. So, Israeli citizen, went to Jerusalem to college in Hebrew, okay, Hebrew University, then got a doctorate degree from Oxford. And this is a so-called Jewish guy. Read on.
He founded and directed an academic institute for peace in Javat Havia, Israel, between 1992 and 2000.
So he was there for 8 years working in a capacity for peace in Israel. So he says, read on.
And was the chair of the Emal Tuma Institute for Palestine Studies of Haifa between 2000 and 2006.
In I can't. I think you said it right. Haifa between. So for 6 years, he worked in Palestinian. So he studied in Israel and got his PhD in philosophy. And then he did Palestinian studies. He taught it actually. He was a chair. Chair means you run the whole department. Okay. He ran a whole department about Palestinian studies, and this is an Israeli guy. Okay. Go ahead.
Professor Pape was a senior lecturer in the Department of the Middle Eastern History and the Department of Political Science in Haifa University, Israel, between 1984 and 2006.
So for 22 years, he was the senior lecturer, meaning for 3 years to be a senior, you got to be a top guy. For 22 years, he was the leader of the Department of Middle Eastern History. And so what I'm showing you is I'm dealing with a white guy that has a whole lot of credibility, according to, even from the white man's eyes, about the land of Israel. So when he says what he's about to say, all of you, nobody can deny it. Read on.
He was appointed a chair in the Department of History in Cornwall campus 2007 to 2009 and became a fellow of the IUIC in 2010.
So these are more accolades. Read on.
His research focused on the modern Middle East and in particular the history of Israel and Palestine.
So for his primary focus is on the modern Middle East, and particularly the history of Israel and Palestine. I really am taking my time with this. So when he says we got to say, just to know how evil Netanyahu and these Israelis truly are, and the reason why is because of Romans chapter 9. Their hearts are being hardened, and the U.S. is adamant and unyielding in its position to change because God is keeping them in that frame of mind. Read on.
He has also written on multiculturalism, critical discourse analysis, and on power and knowledge in general.
In other words, he's a powerful speaker who appreciates research and knows what the hell he's talking about. Now go number 3.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Real quick before we go there, bring up that definition of organization. And it's spelled a particular way with an S because the president of Turkey said you're an organization.
Good connection.
Go ahead, put it up.
Yes, sir.
So organization. This is going to be real heavy as to why he called Israel organization. The definition says an organized body of people with a particular purpose, especially a business, society, association, etc. Now click on similar words. There's an arrow. So we see company, firm, operation, corporation, institution, establishment, syndicate, confederation, alliance, association. What you don't see here is nation. So they understand that this is not a nation of people that is in the land.
Wow.
They are not the nation of Israel. That's why they call the country now is called the state of Israel, because it's not a country, because that's not the people that belong there.
And the point of that is you will never hear them call themselves Israelites. Right. An Israelite is from the nation of Israel. They don't call themselves the 12 tribes of Israel. They don't say that. So that's a heavy point.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. That's a real heavy point. Y'all hope y'all caught that. Now, let's go to number 3. We may not get to everything, but we're going to keep our time tonight. Watch this. Well, listen to this. Remember, we just gave this guy his name. He about to drop a bomb on what is going on over there, because he is a top guy that was allowed to teach in Israel at their top universities from Oxford. So they can't deny this guy, because this guy is the best representative of them. Okay, so play.
We're seeing now what unfolds in front of our eyes is a genocidal situation by which people are targeted.
So real quick, genocide is the extinction of a people based upon their race and their culture. So, for example, that's a bad example. Give me an example of genocide. Slavery.
Slavery is an example of genocide. The Tuskegee experiment
Perfect example.
is an example of genocide. Planned Parenthood is an example of genocide. Them dropping drugs and guns into the black and Hispanic community are examples of genocide.
Genocide. So what this guy is saying is that what Israel is doing, when I'm talking about Israel, I'm talking about the Israelis, they are trying to eradicate and destroy the Palestinian race. The whole group of people, not just one or two, not Hamas, everybody.
Now, I got something to back that up. It's another video, but we'll get it after this guy.
Okay, play on.
Whether there are children, babies in hospital or in schools. And this is a massive operation of killing, of ethnic cleansing, of depopulation.
So again, I want us to remind you, this is based upon his education. He said it's genocide, and he said it's ethnic cleansing of a people. This is an Israeli citizen who went to school in Jerusalem saying this about the so-called organization that he comes from. Play on.
For that kind of savagery is revenge for what the Hamas did on the 7th of October. But I think the real intention here is not just revenge, but trying to exploit what happened on the 7th of October to create new realities and historical Palestine. You called it a new Nakba. I think that the Nakba has never really ended for the Palestinians, so it's a new horrific chapter in the ongoing Nakba that the Palestinians are suffering here. I think what we're seeing now was unfolds.
Israeli historian, he also makes the point, and we're going to stop it here. He makes the point that the Jewish people, so-called Jewish people, take what happened in the Holocaust and keep making it relive after each trauma, trying to make that relive to create a new reality so they can do what they want in that land. This is what the Israeli historian is saying about the people and his former government, because I don't think he lives there anymore.
Hey, Cap, that word he said, Nakba, it stood out to me. It says the Nakba, which means catastrophe in Arabic, refers to the mass displacement and disopposition of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Right. He said it's a continuing Nakba.
Yep.
I mean, it hasn't ended. They're still at war with the Palestinians, as you see.
Right. Remember, we showed you the map 2 weeks ago. When they first, and before, remember 1917 was the Balfour Declaration. I forgot about you, Iran. 1917, first of all, the idea is for the repatriation, so-called, or the Zionist movement to bring Jewish people to create an Israeli government, right? That idea started before 1917. They created a Balfour Declaration, which they finally implemented under the trickery of the 68-word Balfour Declaration that was imposed in 1948. That Nakba, like you mentioned, they displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs and killed, destroyed them. And then consequently after that, they had multiple Israeli-Palestine wars, and their land got smaller and smaller and smaller to the point now they got them in the little Gaza Strip and in parts of the West Bank. They have completely boxed them in, and they have created what they call an open-air prison. They control electricity. They control water, food. They control the ports. Remember, Gaza is on the friggin' Eastern Mediterranean Sea. They control everything that comes in and out. So, again, now, in the interest of time, we're going to go right. The next one's even better. Now, let's get another guy. So, this guy here is number. Okay, I'm going to read something. So, there's a guy. Okay, the whole video. This guy is a British lord. He's a former Israeli citizen. He starts off the first couple minutes talking about his background, about his grandmother in the Nazi camp. Then he drops a bomb, okay? This is another former Israeli citizen, so-called or Jewish, all right? Play number 5. Okay, thank you.
I was brought up as an Orthodox Jew and a Zionist. On a shelf in our kitchen was a tin box of the...
So, because a lot of you not paying attention, you have not followed our show. A Zionist are Jewish people that were in Europe who wanted a homeland base set up. They first were going to go to Uganda. They decided, the Balfour Declaration, they decided to so-called repatriate in the land of Palestine. That's what it was known as. And he's talking about how he was a Zionist Jewish person. He's going to talk about his grandmother or his grandfather being in concentration camps in Germany. Meaning, if anybody could speak with authority about Jewish people, he's saying, like Paul said, he could boast. He's boasting, if you will, about his background of being a Jewish man who believed and was a Zionist. Start it again. I want you to start again.
I was brought up as an Orthodox Jew and a Zionist. On a shelf in our kitchen was a tin box of the Jewish National Fund, into which we put coins to help the pioneers building a Jewish presence in Palestine.
So the pioneers, remember Theodor Herzl they call him the father of the Israelis, right? Why? Because he had the idea. And we read about that, and he brought the idea. He went to the first to the Ottoman Turks. They said no. Then he had to go to the British at the time. That's what it was the Rothschild and Lord Balfour. They created the Balfour Declaration, 1917. Okay, play on.
I first went to Israel in 1961, and I've been there since more times than I can count. I had family in Israel, and I have friends in Israel. One of them fought in the wars of 1956, 1967 and 1973 and was wounded in 2 of them. The tie clip which I'm wearing is made from a campaign decoration awarded to him which he presented to me. I've known most of the prime ministers of Israel, starting...
Saying, I got buddies that fought in the multiple wars. I know the prime ministers. I have great ties. I was raised as an Orthodox Jew, a Zionist. He's creating a long, but when he drops a bomb, you're going to hear it. Play on.
Founding Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion. Golda Meir was my friend.
Now, Golda Meir, we read about we played 2 weeks ago, Golda Meir. He knew Golda Meir. She was the lady who says, what are you talking about? She said, I am Jewish, but I'm a Palestinian. I have a Palestinian passport. This was never, she's basically telling herself. This guy knew her, okay? He knew a lot of all the prime ministers. Again, here he goes, play on.
The deputy prime minister, who was a general, won the Negev for Israel in the 1948 War of Independence. My parents came to Britain as refugees from Poland. Most of their families were subsequently murdered by the Nazis in the Holocaust. My grandmother was ill in bed when the Nazis came to her hometown of Stashov.
Now remember, these so-called Jews always talk about, Nazi Germany. This guy's like, yo, my grandmother was in bed. They came through in Poland and killed her in her bed. So if anybody could claim that anti-Semitism card, it could be this guy, right? And I want you gotta listen to what these people say. Play on.
A German soldier shot her dead in her bed. Madam Deputy Speaker, my grandmother did not die to provide cover for Israeli soldiers murdering Palestinian grandmothers in Gaza. The present...
Now watch. See, all these devils in the audience are like, okay, we don't... Now he starts to turn up, and now he creates, now he can say whatever he wants, because nobody can say, my grandmother was killed by Nazi Germany. I was raised an Orthodox Jew. I knew all the prime ministers. Israeli war veterans, I got a clip on my tie. Nobody could say nothing to this guy, right? You got something to say, Iran?
They basically doing a Holocaust, you know what I'm saying, to the Palestinians. How you think
This is the reason why we're going here. Not because this guy's boring as hell. The point is, if anybody can condemn Jewish people, what do they got to say about this guy? So when he speaks against Jewish people, if we say something, we're anti-Semitic, right? So they're going to call him anti-Semitic? The point is that the proof of what they're doing is so remarkably horrible. This guy is so ashamed of what they're doing, he's talking out against it. But even so, I want you to understand something. It doesn't matter who stands up and says whatever they said. Netanyahu, Joe Biden, they are going to do exactly what God wants them to do to bring the next third world war. So play on.
The Israeli government ruthlessly and cynically exploit the continuing guilt among Gentiles over the slaughter of Jews in the Holocaust as justification for their murder of Palestinians.
See, he's telling you. He said what happens is, here it is 70-something years later, and they still use the guilt of what happened in Nazi Germany on the Palestinians today. That's what he just said. Remember, Bishop taught a class where there's a white lady. She's like, yeah, oh, it is a trick. We use anti-Semitism all the time. These are Orthodox Jews, decorated, grandmother killed in the Holocaust. He's not and the rabbis were saying it last week. They're using the Holocaust as an excuse to do war crimes, to commit apartheid. Okay? Hey, guess what? And it's judgment from God for the Palestinians, for those Arabs, for what they did to the 12 tribes of Israel. So we're not, like Bishop Nathaniel said, to be clear, we're not on the Palestinian side. We're not on the Israeli side. We're on God's side. And he's making all of this theater of war happen for us, for our deliverance. Okay? We're going to get to your video, Iran. Play.
The implication is that Jewish lives are precious, but the lives of Palestinians do not count. On Sky News a few days ago, the spokeswoman for the Israeli army, Major Leibovich, was asked about the Israeli killing of, at that time, 800 Palestinians. The total is now 1,000. She replied instantly, 500 of them were militants. That was the reply of a Nazi. I suppose that Jews fighting for their lives in the Warsaw Ghetto could have been dismissed as militants. The Israeli Foreign Minister, Tzipi Livni, asserts that her government will have no dealings with Hamas because they're terrorists. Tzipi Livni's father was Eitan Livni.
So when you get a chance, y'all, watch this, because there are, later in the second half of the show, we're going to show you in Iran. What we'll do is when we come back, you got to go ahead, bring it out.
I just had a scripture real
Bring it
quick,
out, please.
To your point, Sirach 19 and verse 26.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 26. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head.
Right.
Come on,
Sadly,
because that's what they do. They say, hey, the Holocaust, it's, and then read on, watch this.
But inwardly he is full of deceit.
And then they start bombing the hell out them people. That's what they do. They make themselves like, oh, we all defenseless. I got Iron Dome. They got all these weapons over there. Read, come on.
Casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not.
Watch this, read, come on.
Where he is not known, he will do the mischief before thou be aware.
Read verse 20. This is the point.
And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil.
That's the so-called Amalek right there. That's what they do. They find a way to keep doing that evil. Oh, 6 million of us, that little backyard brawl. And then next thing you know, they taking the land from it ain't their land anyway. They bastards that dwelling over there. But this is what they do. This is them in a nutshell. They sit up there and try to get you to feel sorry for them. And then bam, they start bombing people. Hey, go to this hospital over here. Then they bomb the hospital. This is a safe zone. Then they bomb the safe zone. That's what they doing. That's literally what they doing. I know Cap gonna get into it, but I just want to bring that point out, Cap.
That's an absolute perfect scripture, because when you look at the ratio of the population and the size of the country to the sheer magnitude and force of their military, that fits them perfectly. Now, we're going to keep time tonight. We're going to go to the Bible verses of some Mikha'el. Go to our breaks. Come back. We're not going to do kingdom music. Officer Matt's doing his thing. Shout out to Officer Matthew putting in work. All right. Then we're going to come back. We're going to do the second half of the show, and we'll do a short law back attack. We have a lot more to get to. Stay with us. I hope that you're excited of tonight's show. We're exposing these bastards.
That's
Okay.
right.
All praise to the Most High. Stick around. Precept upon precept. Shalom. Take it away.
They don't like that. No cap. We ain't lying, we ain't blind, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down. They don't like that. The trouble Judah, watch us do this. We gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lying. Talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him with his wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them. Praying for my aunties and my uncles.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High Christ bless. Hey, this is your brother, Officer Mikha'el, and this is the Bible verses. It's my body, my decision. Hey, play the video.
Stupid, bro. I can't believe you sitting here just finding out you got an OnlyFans page. Out of all these years, yo, the disrespect that comes with it, that you couldn't even talk to me before you did it, that's bullshit, bro. That's fucked up, Keith. I'm telling you, bro, that's fucked up.
Wait, no. Calm, but you're not gonna say fuck me or that's fucked up. It's not fucked up.
You recording me? What the fuck you doing?
Listen, it's not fucked up, and we're going to. Okay, look. So, I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course I'm mad at you just finding out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself, so why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my fucking choice?
I'm your partner. You're supposed to come to me and talk to
Joe,
me.
I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to shit. You're not giving me none, so I created one.
That's no solution. Not in my book. That's no
You knew
solution.
who the fuck I was when you met me.
Before,
I
knew that.
thought that I would never have to go
Man,
back to
get out of
anything
here.
like
I knew
this
that
again.
beforehand,
But
but not,
unfortunately,
no.
that's not the case
Because after
right
that,
now.
after that, everything's supposed to change.
Everything did change.
No. Obviously it hasn't.
No, it had to. I had
Obviously
to do something.
It hasn't. You stood out there showing your body. You stood out there doing stuff like this on camera.
You act like that's the only thing that I do. I have mad jobs, but they're not facilitating everything that needs to be done. So I got something extra. OnlyFans be breaking me off.
So, just in case y'all don't know, this is Joe Smith, former #1 overall draft pick in the NBA. This man made over $60 million in his NBA career. Well, right now, he is flat broke. This man is over $100,000 in debt right now. So his wife, who is a former porn star, sees the only solution is to shake her ass for a little cash on camera. And I don't know if he's truly upset about it or not. To me, it seems like it's all a setup to draw attention to the page. Because not only what he said was, it's effed up because you didn't talk to me about it first. It's effed up because she's doing it. So let's see what the Bible says. Give me the law. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 16. Let's see what the Bible has to say about this here. Because it's the Bible versus my body, my choice. Is it her body? Is it her choice? Let's see.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife.
So Joe Smith is an Israelite. He is our brother. And we are not to uncover the nakedness of his wife. So she should not be showing off her body on OnlyFans. Now, some of y'all might say, hey, that's the Old Testament. Yeah, it is. But Christ came in the volume of the book. And it's said in more than one place. Jump over to Leviticus 19:29. Let's see.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 29.
Uh-huh.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore.
It says, don't prostitute your daughter to cause her to be a whore. Now, if her father had been applying these commandments from the jump, she wouldn't have never been no ex-porn star in the first place, and she wouldn't feel like it's okay for her to show off her body to the world. It's not okay. And guess what? It's not even her body. She don't even have power over her body. 1 Corinthians 7 and 4. She don't even have power over her body. Watch this. 1 Corinthians 7 and 4.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7 and verse 4. Thy wife had not power of her own body, but the husband.
Read it from the top again.
The wife had not power of her own body, but the husband.
Read it from the top again.
The wife had not power of her own body, but the husband.
It is not her body, and it damn sure ain't her choice. She shouldn't be taking her clothes off. She shouldn't be having no OnlyFans. And she should trust that her husband is going to make everything all right. Yeah, they in debt. But guess what? There's going to be trouble in the flesh. There's going to be ups and downs in the marriage. The Bible says that. Let's get that real quick. 1 Corinthians 7:28. There's going to be trouble in the flesh. Things going to happen. Read.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 28. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she had not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh.
Financial hardships is trouble in the flesh. And guess what? The Bible says it's going to happen. So either we take it and we fix it, or we have this mess going on that we have here with our people. And, this has been the Bible versus my body, my choice, and we have found out that it is not her body and it's not her choice, and she needs to trust in her husband that he's going to make things all right. Even in the world, when they take their vows, they say for better or for worse. This right now is worse for them. Yeah, he $100,000 in debt. And they've been arguing about solution, and she says he hadn't given her one. No, you just haven't trusted that man yet. Let that man lead. All right, this is your brother, Officer Mikha'el, and this has been the Bible verses. So y'all stay tuned. They don't like that. Breaks, all right? We're going to get right back to another fire show.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No cap, we ain't lying, we ain't blind, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The tribe of Judah, watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lying, talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him with his wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them, praying for my aunties and my uncles and my...
We are not for Israeli, Jewish. We're not for Palestinian Arabs. What we are for is the truth, and we stand behind God and God's prophecy. We're just showing you the level of evil that the Jewish or Israeli are have shown towards the Palestinian Arabs.
Judah chapter 8 verse 24. Now therefore, O brethren, let us show an example to our brethren, because their hearts depend upon us.
When he says their hearts, he's talking about their minds. Our people's minds depend upon everybody in here. So it's going out here doing community cleanups, doing walkthroughs through the community, doing wellness checks. That's an example that we need in the community.
Go all in.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Going in, going all in. Going all in. I'm going in, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in.
Hey, Shalom Ezra, thank you again. Late show. It's 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central. Precept upon precept. Let's go. Iran, you wanted to bring out a video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Give Iran his video.
So it's a video that I posted in the group, And it's just backing up what we were saying, what Cap was bringing out. You had the brothers say, we making preparations. Don't forget, they've been bringing it out for months and for months now about the BRICS. You got these different countries joining BRICS. It's the opposite of NATO, but it's with other countries. So let's look at that video real quick. I brought it up with China because we seeing all this in the media about Iran, Hezbollah, these other countries, but we're not seeing what some other countries, they paying attention. It's not just going by slack. You just had China make a weapon that's more powerful than nukes that say it's too dangerous. They didn't just wake up and just say, hey, let's make a weapon. No, they're doing it for a reason. Play that.
国好战成瘾，建国240。
Bring it
I'll
back.
read it for you.
Go ahead.
I got it, Cap.
Go ahead.
Since it's established 240 years ago, establishment 240 years ago, it lived in peace for only 16 years.
Talking about America.
The U.S. is established in more than 80 countries and regions around the world. More than 800 overseas military bases.
Hey, that's that whore that sits upon many waters.
From Afghanistan to Iraq, from Syria to Libya. Wherever the U.S. war machine goes, destruction and misery follow.
So an example of that is what's going on in Israel and Palestine. Read on.
Well, the U.S. sends speed bombs to Ukraine. Send carrier battle groups to the Mediterranean, send weapons and ammunition to Israel. It is the United States that has proved to be the fundamental disorder of the international order and the main source of problems. They are the ones behind the world's turmoil.
Pause real quick. That is so powerful. Hey, look, now, I'm going to back it up with the scriptures. Give me Isaiah 14. Because what happens is the whole world, 800 international bases, the whole world, when this place goes down, is going to say this. Isaiah 14, is this the man? Let me see something real quick. Let's start first. Oh, gosh, I just had it. Wait a minute. I don't want to lose this. Let's start at verse 12.
Verse 12. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Oh, Lucifer, that's talking about the so-called white. It's not talking about a big, giant spiritual demon with horns on his head. It's not talking about an evil angel fell from a cloud and got pushed over like a bird out of a nest. Ain't talking about that. Read on.
Son of the morning.
Come on.
How art thou cut down to the ground?
What did he do?
How art thou cut down to the ground?
Right, and read on, but what did he do?
Which didst weaken the nations.
That's what China's talking about. We see what you had 16 years of peace and 224 years of war. You and everywhere you go, and he starts laming down. That's a great article, a great video, Iran. Read on.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend to the heaven.
Not only does he literally go into the heavens, but he's like, I'm at the top of the mountain. I do whatever I want. That's why there's a U.S. embassy everywhere you go. Why isn't there a Russian embassy everywhere? Why isn't there a Brazilian embassy? There's a U.S. embassy everywhere because the U.S. runs the entire planet Earth. Read.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Read on.
I will sit also among the mount of the congregation.
And that's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, primarily in North America. That's where his empire is. His nest, the eagle's nest, is over here. It's not in Britain no more. Okay, it's an extension of his nest. Read on.
In the sides of the north.
Come on.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Come on.
I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
Right.
To the sides of the pit.
Read on.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
Because now they don't narrowly look upon the so-called white man. They scarily and mightily look upon him. Even right now, they're destroying the Palestinian, killing thousands of children. I've seen a video where the face of the child is off. The face is off. Another one, they got the head of the child, and he had to put the head next to the neck. And the father's like, he just fell apart. That's the body parts. They're taking body parts out. And the Saudi Arabians have to look at that. The Iranians, the Iraqis have to look at that. Do you think if the white man wasn't in power, they would have already destroyed the white man in Israel? They can't, because the power that the Most High is giving the so-called white man. Okay, it's biblical. Read on.
And consider the same. Is this the man?
What?
Is this the man?
What man is it talking about? The man of sin. Lucifer. That's the so-called white man. And we don't say it animosity. It's reverse racism. No, it's not. Okay? It is not. When you read in the top of the verse, it said that our favorite verse, 1 and 2, the people should take them. Mm-hmm. It's talking about the so-called white man. Any way you want to slice it. Read on.
Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Let's ask yourself, what man made the earth to tremble? And how did he do it? When he ended the war in 1945, he got international fear at that point. Nobody wanted to, and they tried that crap in the Cuban Missile Crisis. There's about to be another third war, and America is still asserted its dominance. That's why NATO has encroached and encroached and encroached all the way to Kazakhstan, all the way to Ukraine, which is a long-range missile distance from Moscow. That's why they're fighting the war right now with Russia against the U.S. through the puppet called Ukraine. Anyways, read on.
Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Okay, I'm being long-winded. Let's go back. Let's go back. Excellent video, Arian. Excellent, excellent, excellent video. All right, let's move on. That was a hell of a video. Number 6. So now, is the white man, the Israeli white man, is he really as militarily strong? And can he defeat the ideology of Palestine? Short video. Let's hear from an ex-Israeli Special Forces. I think he was Special Forces Infantry. Play.
My Special Forces Infantry unit went to the border. The entire night sky was lit up with explosions, deafening explosions, as the Air Force and the artillery bombarded the village. We were going into a small village with the purpose of identifying and demolishing a tunnel that was going into Israel. We were only a few kilometers in. We weren't very deep in. We were trying to secure an area for these engineers to demolish the tunnels. We pulled out, and right after we pulled out, the Air Force came and demolished, obliterated almost the entire neighborhood that we were in.
So you had your experience, Benzi, in 2014. This is going to be altogether of a different magnitude.
If I'm not mistaken, those are rocket launchers that he's humping behind his Alice pack. No, maybe I'm wrong. The missiles. So this guy right here, and by the way, that's a lot of weight he's carrying. He's got a pack on the back, and then he's got looks like a Alice pack that's on his right arm. That he's so this guy is a Special Forces soldier, and he's speaking about something that he says that they can't kill, and they're going to make things worse. Read on, play on.
That's more threats to Israeli soldiers.
I mean, it's already multiple orders of magnitude worse. I mean, you know, something like 3 times as many Palestinians have already been killed through these bombing campaigns as there were killed in the entire 2014 war, and we haven't even began the ground invasion.
Since today is November the 2nd, since October 7th until the time of this video, he said there's been more Palestinians killed than the entire war in 2014. That's how much Most High is allowing Esau to turn it up on these Arabs. And he wants to feel like he has some sort of civility. He's such compassionate when he probably killed 100 of them himself. Okay? So now, we're going to get to the point where we want to focus on, there's a couple of points he makes. Play.
Hamas is stronger. That's just a fact. Hamas is stronger, even though we fought them, and I believed during that fighting and with our sacrifice and all the destruction that we wrought in Gaza that we had dealt them a decisive blow. But that was just not true.
Is it possible, do you think, to wipe out Hamas? The Israeli government has said after this appalling terror attack, we will wipe out Hamas. Is that possible?
I think the only way, I think this government is incapable of doing it unless there is a dramatic, axiomatic shift in our approach towards Palestinians.
Pause real quick. Remember. We said before, you have to have been following the show. Right before October 7th, Netanyahu was at a brink of being ousted from being prime minister because of the civil unrest between most of the country did not agree with, and he was about. But if a prime minister is in power, even if it's a day before he has to leave office, and an act of war is declared, he remains in office. And it's just funny how you couldn't fly a kite over the border. And now all of a sudden, Hamas fighters fly over there in makeshift apparatuses, breach something that nobody can go over. No one knows how it failed. Again, you got to see, and guess what? The Most High God allowed them to do everything they did to create the situation so that they could set it off for what happened on October 7th, to what happened to Israelis. Some got kidnapped, some got killed, some got shot, some got wounded. And now they can go and do what God has in their heart, is to obliterate and destroy the Arabs, the race of Arabs in Palestine. And that goes back to Ezekiel 36. They have divided my land. Okay? Read on, play on.
Towards Palestinians, they can just be controlled. We can just keep them indefinitely under military occupation, deny them rights, deny them freedoms, the same ones that we cherish for ourselves. They don't have. And it's not about security, it's about ideology. We're ideologically committed to controlling the entire land of Israel exclusively for the Jewish people. And
but there will be many Israelis who simply want revenge on Hamas for this hideous attack.
That will only strengthen them, even if we dismantle and are able to defeat the physical.
Pause real quick. Now, I want you to cue the video of the wild boars. And I want you to go get Ishmael as a wild man. We said in the beginning of the show I was going to get to that. Genesis, I think it's 16 to 17. Let me look at it. And we're going to get this. Pull the video up because it says Ishmael. It mentions about in 2nd Ezra 15, like a wild boar, right? God does not make his prophets use words without meaning. A dragon is fierce and powerful. But when he's asleep, he's completely oblivious, right? Watch this. Remember his nature. Wild man. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 16 and verse 11.
It is 16. Read.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael.
Say it again.
And shall call his name Ishmael.
Ishmael. Read on.
Because the Lord had heard thy affliction.
Right, and guess what? The Lord is going to hear the affliction of these Ishmaelites too, and that's why he's going to use Esau to oppress his brothers, the little brothers, Palestine. Israel's going to use the least of the flock will draw the U.S. in, and that's when the theater of wars, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, when you read in Joel chapter 3, it's going down. Read on.
And thou shalt call his name Ishmael.
What?
Ishmael.
Come on.
Because the Lord had heard thy affliction.
Read on.
And he will be a wild man.
He going to be what?
A wild man.
Read on.
His hand will be against every man.
His hand going to be against every man. Now, remember the wild boar in 2nd Ezra. We have a clip. Somebody posted it. I want to show you the character, not of Charlotte's Web, the damn pig in the pen. Not Charlotte Web pig. A wild boar is different, okay? Different than your friggin' your country fair pig that's pink. They ain't talking about that pig.
They're horrible in Texas.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, oh, shoot. So now we about to show you 2 wild boars, and that's a predator cat, right?
Like a cheetah.
Looks like a cheetah.
Play.
These beasts are known for their distinctive appearance, which includes a bristly coat, sharp
Pause real
tusks.
quick. Pause. So now what that is That's probably 300-400 wild boar. Those are hunting dogs. It's probably somewhere in the deep south. And this boar, he might have got shot already. He'll kill all them hunting dogs. This is a wild, and he don't got teeth like a dog, but he just don't give a damn. Look at how wild he is. Okay, play it again. Read on. Play on.
These beasts are known for their distinctive appearance, which includes a bristly coat, sharp tusks, and their reputation for aggressive behavior, particularly when threatened or confronted.
He's going up to the hunter. Oh, damn!
Wild boars are a species of pig that can be found in many parts of the world, including Asia, Africa, Europe, and North America. Come with us as we explore the interesting world of wild boars and see their wild and untamed behavior up close. Let's get started.
Wow, the little pig, little boar.
The peaceful atmosphere of the salon was suddenly disrupted by the arrival of a wild boar, causing the patrons to startle.
So we just want to show you the nature of a wild boar, okay? Ishmael's a wild man. Now,
can't be tamed.
Now let's go back to what we had up. Where were we?
Hey, sidebar. Esau crazy as hell, trying to fight the wild boar.
Remember, the Israeli soldier is saying you can't defeat Hamas. It's not Hamas. It's the ideology. What he understands is that maybe he doesn't know the scriptures, right? Or maybe it's his Jewish are not looking in the Torah and the Talmud, right? Not the Talmud, the Tanakh. The reality is that he's saying without saying, you can't kill his wild nature. Hamas represents the wildness of Ishmael. Okay? Now play that. Play on.
Defeat the physical terrorist organization Hamas, we will be strengthening the idea of violent resistance, because the only way to defeat the idea of violent resistance is to create an alternative and to work towards an alternative, one that our government is fundamentally opposed to. So this government can't defeat Hamas.
So you think it will, in effect, radicalize another generation of young Palestinians?
Of course. Of course. We're just killing them, and we don't provide any alternative.
From last week where the young brother lost his sister,
right?
And he was crying out in rage. That's what he's talking about.
Right.
It's just going to radicalize a younger generation to keep fighting.
Think about the white man, his history. There was a thing called the Revolutionary War, where they revolted against the oppression of their British forefathers. Remember the Boston Tea Party? No taxation without representation.
Right.
So you're going to have a people, the Palestinians, that the idea of them being there is repulsive to the Israelis. That they believe that's their land. So they're going to fight until the spirit is no more. They have to kill every one of them is the point. He is a special in the Army, right? U.S. Army. You go through boot camp, you go to your MOS, right? After that, they take elite men and put them in what they call the Green Berets or Special Forces or Marine Corps as reconnaissance, or you might have the Navy and the Navy SEALs. He is an Israeli militant, but in the Special Forces in the infantry unit. He understands war. He's saying you can't beat these guys. And guess what? Because God is making all this work. Now, let's get rid of that. Let's move on to the next one. We got to now get me number. Okay, now we're going to shift gears. I'm not going to get to everything. We're going to show you all across the world, not just Arab Muslims. Muslims everywhere are enraged at what's going on now. All right? Number 7. So now, remember before, I'm showing you the level that God is, we're not seeing any of this on the mainstream news. In Constantinople, with the Turkish president, there was a sea of people. Look at the buildings. This is not Constantinople. This is Russia. These are people, Islamic or Muslims, and probably some other people that are concerned with the Palestinian oppression. Look at the streets. Look at this. Okay? Play on. So real quick, that was okay. Wait a minute. That was Moscow on June 28th. Okay, but they still okay. Play on. Keep going.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الله أكبر.
There's no words or nothing.
الله.
Is that it? Okay, that's the wrong video. I'm sorry. Go to the next one. I don't know why I posted that.
And while y'all look for that, they not protesting just to say, hey, let's go stand in the streets. They want something to be done about it. They saying, Russia, do something about this. Wherever they protesting that, they telling their government, look, y'all need to do something about this. Eventually, the government going to hear them out.
Hey, somebody posted, I like that. Number 13, I didn't realize, let's look at France. So in France, they're marching in support of Gaza. So look at the sea of people in France. Wow. Number 13. Just to show you what's going on across the world, y'all. And remember, the European Union or the NATO forces in Europe, remember, when they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, when they went to war, we showed you rallies in Europe where they were rallying in Poland, in Italy, in Spain. Why? NATO's got to go in their language. Because why? The prices of commodities, to include fuel and natural, through the roof. Because when the U.S. blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, the European people are sick and damn tired of the U.S. puppet that controls NATO. This is why everyone's going to rise up and turn on this great whore, America. All of them. Europe's going to turn. They're all. Because remember, China, perfect video. China said, for 16 years you had peace. Then you've been war the whole time. 800 military bases everywhere you go. Everywhere they go, they cause disease. In Kuwait, they had no strip clubs, no Christmas, no homosexuality. Now they got all that in Kuwait, in the middle of the Persian Gulf, at a little teeny country that they created. Damn. It's amazing. Y'all got to see what it is. We are literally living in the last days, okay? Play that video again. That's fine. Play the other one.
Yeah, because we're talking about all over the world, right?
Yes.
How they're raising up for Palestine. This is here in New Orleans. Play that. That's Canal Street.
Wow.
We set up in front of that Popeyes many a times for Bayou Classic. Those that follow us. That is here in New Orleans. They're chanting free, free Palestine.
And it's not just New Orleans. It's in Houston, Texas. It's in New York City. It's most Chicago, most major cities in the U.S. We showed, I had another video, man. I hope I didn't give you. Give me, I'm going to move on. Let's look at, I'm going to get right to the point of, nope. Let's see real quick. Wait a minute. Get me. Yep. Give me. All right. I'm going to go right to the last two videos. I'm going to show you what they're doing. Give me number 8. So what you have is there are certain businesses, Fortune 500 companies, huge international businesses like McDonald's. They're supporting Israeli troops. And what's happening is people are using social media and doing crazy things like marching outside of McDonald's and saying you're supporting apartheid. And one guy took it upon himself to paint mice different colors like the Palestinian flag and turn them loose in McDonald's. Yeah, you got to see people are think about this. If you was McDonald's and this is not good publicity at all.
No,
okay?
it's not.
I couldn't believe it. Let's play the damn video. No volume?
Nah.
A pro-Palestine activist released a box of mice into a McDonald's in Star City, Birmingham. The mice appeared to be painted the colors of the Palestinian flag.
They said appeared. It's obvious.
Wow.
Customers jumped back in shock as the rodents landed on the floor.
So go back. Can you rewind it? They said they targeted the big 3. And the reason why, so let's read it. So it says targeted boycott the big 3. So start of a boycott of brands that are directly involved in supporting the Israeli apartheid. Stop buying Starbucks. It is for posts supporting Palestine, suing its union for posts. Stop buying Starbucks food and drinks. Donated free meals to the Israeli army. Stop buying McDonald's and food and drinks. Declared support for Israel by pledging $2 million. Disney. Cancel your subscriptions. It's more than just marching in the street. It's going to become an economic war. I'm telling y'all, we are living at the end times. We really, y'all got to see it. Let's go back 5 years ago. Like, you wouldn't have thought that the level that we're at right now. You got a war going right now with Russia and Ukraine. You got a war right now. Yemen declared war on Israel. Turkey, he's saying we are preparing. We're making preparations. Saudi Arabia said to the U.S. By a Saudi Arabian official, either you stop Israel or we will. You've got Iran, okay? All of these powers are saying you better fix this. All right, now, where are we at now? No, okay, that was the mice one. Did we finish the mice one? Okay, last 2 videos. I saved the best for last. Let's hear from 2 professional military commentators who are, we played them before. I like these guys. Freedom, I say, all right. Play number 10 is the first 1 minute and 14 seconds. It's U.S. former Marine. This guy says a whole lot in a minute and 14 seconds. Watch this. The guy's name is Scott Ritter. You've seen him before. He's going to say a lot. So we're gonna let it play. Then we're gonna go back and we're gonna break it down. Let it play 1 to all the way to 114.
State never has, won't tolerate it. They've talked about it, but they knew they were never going to allow it to happen. And one of the ways they prevented it from happening was to create a division within Palestinian population. So they promoted Hamas. They funneled money into Hamas.
Pause real quick. No, he said they supported Hamas. They gave money to Hamas. Again, before, like I told you, how does Netanyahu stay in power? Hamas is the one that breached security. They, meaning the Western powers, who give billions of dollars annually to military budget of Israel, they help to create, fund, and support Hamas. Why would a white former Marine brass Why would he lie? Play on.
Openly collaborated with Hamas, even though I don't think Hamas understood they were being collaborated with, and they empowered Hamas. The United States is looking at a bigger picture, and the bigger picture, it requires stability in the Middle East. In order to do that, we need Saudi Arabia on our side. We need Iran to be pacified. We need the Arab world to be doing what we want it to do. That is our big picture, and we're not going to let Israel get in the way. It has eliminated the one major obstacle to peace in the Middle East, and that is Israeli intransigence about a Palestinian state. That's gone. There will be a Palestinian state. Israel has no choice but to accept this. It will be dictated to them by the United States, by the international community, because the international community is turning on Israel as we speak. As I said,
What does he mean when he says the international community is turning on Israel? You got the Turkish president we showed you before. Iran is talking about making a threat to the U.S. You've got Yemen declared war on Israel. You've got Egypt talking about, because they wanted to try to send the citizens of Gaza, which are the Palestinians, and mass exodus them to Egypt. So Egyptians involved. You've got the U.S. destroyed Iranian bases in the country of Syria. Right now, he's saying that the people are going to turn on Israel. And when they do that, guess what? The U.S. is going to be drawn in. The least of the flock shall draw them in. Because without the U.S., Israel has no Iron Dome. They have no security. They have no military force. They have no military budget. This is why God is true. The least of the flock shall draw him in. Read on.
Drop so many bombs on a helpless civilian population before people call you out for being the war criminals that you are. So I think going forward, we're going to be seeing a different Israel, and this is the game changer.
So that Scott Ritter said a lot. He said a whole lot. And now we're going to get to McGregor. So McGregor is number 11. So basically, I want to preface this. He says something that is called a civilizational war. A civilization war. It started 350 to 657. This guy, Colonel McGregor, is basically saying World War III has already started. This is what he's saying. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This guy, they don't want to put this guy... by the way, he was under Trump administration. He had some sort of title. This guy's sharp. If you listen to this guy, he tells it like it is. Okay, which probably infuriates a lot of his Edomite brethren. Okay, play.
Stop all military weapon sales to Turkey, but he's playing.
At the beginning of the show, Officer Mikha'el, you mentioned something about the Turkish, right? And he's going to break it down about the Turkish people and their history. Because remember, Aragon, I can't pronounce his damn name. He had a speech in Istanbul, pro-Palestine rally that called out Israel as having an apartheid state and being war criminals. Okay? So, and Iran and Turkey are collaborating. Okay? Watch what he says about the president of Turkey and the Arab and the Muslim international community. Play.
Different worlds, it seems.
NATO is a paper alliance. Let's not impute too much significance to it. It has too many members. It's totally ineffective and dysfunctional. The reason that Turkey was in NATO was because Greece was in NATO, and this was our effort after the Second World War to stop the outbreak of future wars in the Eastern Mediterranean. So we thought if we brought the Greeks and the Turks in, that would make it difficult for them to do that. The other reason was the Turks were always anti-communist. Kemal Ataturk was very anti-communist, and he was actually very pro-German and pro-Italian. In other words, we would say pro-fascist or pro-Nazi.
So what he's doing is, you got to understand something. This guy, when he was in his younger years, he sat in all those rooms in the meetings where they were planning. This is the white man's agenda. He's telling the white man, he said the reason why we even had Turkey and Greece and NATO is because we wanted to control what was going over in the Eastern Mediterranean. That's why they had them involved. Okay, play on.
He's an anti-communist, and so we had good relations with the Turks. If Hitler had managed his own defunct grand strategy a little bit better, he might have had the Turks for allies in the Second World War. And even now, the Turks and the Germans, although they have their disagreements on issues, tend to like each other a great deal. That's not necessarily the case with the Russians. And so Mr. Erdogan
This is the point. He talks about Mr. Erdogan, which is President Erdogan for the president of Turkey. Now he's going to tell a little bit about history about Turkey, Islam, and their people. Play.
Didn't have struggled as well, because ultimately Turkey is not European. It's external to Europe.
Turkey is not white people. They got nothing to do with Europe. Play on.
Muslim state. It is a Turkish Muslim state. It is a Sunni Muslim state. Those are its roots. It has no roots in Europe or.
You heard that? It is a Turkish Muslim state, predominantly Sunni Muslim. So they have the most powerful military in that region, the Turkey, right? Other than Israel, backed by the United States. Erdogan made a national proclamation calling Israeli war criminals. Remember that. They are not Europeans, and they are a Muslim state. Muslim state. The Palestinians are Arabs, but they are Islamic. They are Muslim. That's why Erdogan said in his speech, if you listen to it, he says, the West wants to make it be about the cross versus the crescent. That's talking about Islam versus Christianity. Okay, play on.
That's absurd. So, if anything, we are seeing much of the world return to normalcy. Who are the two major powers in the Middle East over the last 5,000 years? Persia, and certainly then after Persia, I would say Turkey for the last 1,000. And the Turks have been a dominant force. They
to your point, Mikha'el, the Palestinians, before the Jewish Caucasians came and set up the apartheid system known as the State of Israel today, the Ottoman Turks ruled that land. The white British played the Palestinians, saying, we'll free you from Turkish oppression. They lied to them, just like they did the Native Americans. He's breaking down the history. He's saying, you messing with the people, which are the ancient Persians and Medes, you're messing with the people that have a history and culture that goes back thousands of years. Watch what he says. Play on.
Central Asia. They survived the Mongolian invasions. In other words, these are very powerful figures, powerful people, powerful culture. And they are Muslims. They're not all radical Muslims by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, Turkish Islam was on the whole fairly moderate compared with the Arabs. But we're dealing with a different set of circumstances because what's happening in Gaza is enraging the entire Muslim world.
That's the point. What the mistake that they're making is that the Netanyahu, because of his desperation to stay in power, God is hardening his heart, hardening the heart of the Pharaoh of America, Joe Biden, to do what? To keep pressing forward. This is no longer about Arabs in Palestine. This is a gross injustice where people in New Orleans, Louisiana, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Sydney, Australia, Singapore, parts of China, Germany, France, Jordan, Iraq, Moscow, everywhere are against the occupation and destruction and mass murdering of Palestinians. The Muslim world is enraged. And guess what? A lot of them are Arabs. A lot of them is Arabs. Play on. We're almost done. We're going to get ready to transition. Now keep going. I want to play the rest of that, please.
Just another war in the Middle East between Israel, Egypt, Syria, or southern Lebanon. This is a very different animal. This is a civilizational confrontation now.
Pause. That's heavy. He said this is a time in human history with the social media and the ability to show body parts and decapitations of children that happened the night before. You see a village the next morning, which, by the way, they bombed a refugee camp. And refugees, by definition, they don't have a home. Whether they're in tent cities, whether they're in concrete structures, they don't have homes. They're refugees. And because Israel said, we warned you to leave, you didn't leave, well, where are they going to go? It is a war crime. And that's why the Turkish president is speaking the way he's speaking. That's why Iran is speaking. That's why Yemen declared war. That's why Saudi Arabia has said, the United States, you better get Israel before we do. I'm telling you, this, brothers, I don't know when it's going to happen, but we got to get our minds right. The Lord going to wake up a lot of Israelites through this, and tough times is coming. Bishop Nathaniel has been teaching us the importance of preparing our minds for when things get tough for us here. You're seeing the theater of war right now. McGregor is like, look, I don't get damn when nobody says World War III is in the beginning. It started. Okay? Let's finish this up. We're going to close out.
And that is due largely to Mr. Netanyahu and his government that has tried to transform this into a much larger fight.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hit that topic here in a minute. Another story that I wanted to get.
That's it. Then he goes to corny coffee commercial. So look, y'all, we stay on a track tonight. Thank you for staying with us. We are going to continue to track what's going on with the dragons of Arabia. We're going to show you what's happening in these Islamic countries like Turkey, like Syria, like Jordan, like Lebanon, like Iraq, like Pakistan. I had to wait a bunch more. We can't get to it tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Again, I want to invite you to subscribe, share, comment, and hit the bell notification on our IUIC New Orleans YouTube page. We have one short with our very own Officer Math. It is 2.7 million hits. Is that TikTok? Instagram. And another one just over 1 million. So listen, help us to grow. The word's going out. Share this radio show. Share this broadcast. You're not going to hear about things we're talking about. We're showing you that. I dig for this stuff. We're showing you things about Israeli dignitaries, Israeli historians who are condemning as war crimes. Why isn't that being reported about? And why isn't any of this being reported about? So with that, stick around. We got Lar Back Attack. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to the Health Edition and a little bit of comedic relief on this late Thursday night. So now, I will start with a couple of scriptures, and I hope to cut whoever needs to be cut, not because I hate you, because you should be inspired to make change. You have a first-rate problem known as obesity or morbid obesity, and it's been years and months, and you still don't do ish about it. Your fault, not mine. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 25.
So why do we keep reading similar scriptures over and over again? It's the same reason why right now there are Christmas decorations up in every Walmart, in every Home Depot, and they keep sharing the same lies to you. They keep showing you the same fast food commercials. They keep showing you these enlarged cereal commercials, and they show all this marketing and advertisement, and you keep falling victim. Read.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
If you got a cheerful and a good heart, you got to say to yourself, I am a disgusting ball of fat and lard. I need to fix myself. And, by the way, people in Chad, people in South America, in Somalia, they don't have the liberty or the privilege to even get fat. Okay? Read it again.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
Okay. Get Sirach 31.
Verse 16.
Nope, I don't want 16 today. I want Sirach. Is it? Let me see real quick. I want sound sleep. So we can start at 16 all the way down then.
The book of Sirach 31 and verse 16. Eat as it becometh a man, those things which are set before thee.
I'm going to keep repeating the same thing. If you think about it, right? The things that are set before thee are a personal choice that is a decision that is made in the mind. If you have something set before thee, there's three ways in general. Number one, either you are purchasing something at a restaurant or making something for yourself. Number two, you're going to a restaurant, someone's serving you. I think I said that. Number three is perhaps your wife, or maybe you live with your mother and you're 19. You have to control. Now, maybe in your mother's house you can't do that. But as you become a man, it says a man now, you have to control what goes in your stomach, what goes in your family's house. You have to control that. Men lead everything in the nation of Israel. And the thing about it is a lot of us, it's amazing. Like I tell brothers all the time, I'm not coming to see you in the hospital. I ain't doing it. I really try with all you brothers to get you to realize you can do it. Shout out to the brother. He lost 70 pounds in like 13 weeks. 1 meal a day, healthy keto. Remember this. Eating less frequently will reverse insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the problem with y'all. You eat too often throughout the day. This is how you solve your freaking problem. Stop eating so many times a day. Start with 2 times a day, go down to 1. Now you have less insulin spikes. I don't give a damn if you're diabetic or not, or pre-diabetic. Then in that window, as you begin to master it, eat less carbs. So here's an example. A ribeye steak. If you can't afford ribeye, 8 hard-boiled organic eggs, a crap load of vegetables, and for dessert, maybe a handful of strawberries or blueberries. And then maybe you need to take some vitamins with that. You can get a good quality vitamin. That's all you eat. And then your body begins to burn your fat like candle wax. It just burns. It goes into ketosis. It's simple. Brothers in IUIC have lost 100 pounds, 150 pounds. They're doing it. You cannot do it without being consistent. Some of you need to hear this. A lot of you online, you should be ashamed of yourself. And in that day, when you have problems, you're going to remember the brothers who were motivating you to fix yourself. Read on.
Eat as becometh a man, those things which are set before thee.
We almost done.
And
Read
devour
on.
not.
Don't be a damn wolf or doggone pig. Read on.
Lest thou be hated.
Right. That's why fat jokes, you're going to get a bunch of fat jokes told about you. Read on.
Leave off first for manners' sake.
But lard asses don't have manners. I had a video earlier today that I could not upload in time. It was a big giant lard bag that has a gigantic McDonald's bag. And she says like this. She's like, oh, I seemed, one of the brothers posted, I think, I seem to have forgot my salad. And you know she's lying out loud because she's pulling out burgers and all type of delectable fried foods. And she's acting dainty like she forgot the salad. And she's about 400 pounds. Okay? Read on.
And be not unsatiable.
Right.
Lest thou offend.
Right.
When thou sittest amongst many.
You know you offended when I walk into a store and there's someone that's 300 pounds walking, that offend the hell out of me. Why? Because you walk too slow. You're waddling like a little duck, or a big duck. Play on.
When thou sittest amongst many.
Right. Hey, you ever see a lard ass sit around a bunch of people, right? Like we got some captains who are pleasantly plump. I'm throwing jokes at you like everything I can. Like it'd be a big giant tray with everybody's food come. Hey, there's so-and-so's appetizer. And everyone's going, oh, God. Yes, because it's your fault. Because you're a big, disgusting lard bear. Read on.
Reach not thy hand out first of all.
Read on.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
And that's the point. You brothers and sisters do not need to eat multiple times a day. Okay, once you lose all the weight, then you could go down to maybe 2 times a day. You learned 3 to 5, sometimes 7 meals a day. You learned that from Babylon the Great. Why? Everything's in excess. This is the age of decadence, where you can go for $3.18 and get 3 things from the extra dollar meal, and you can get it in less than 10 minutes. Eat it while you drive home. It's a damn shame, the state of health amongst black people in America. It's really bad. And in this truth, it shouldn't be that way. Read on.
And he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed.
You gassy, you burping, and all of that. Not to say that skinny people don't burp and fart, but lard asses have more problems. Read on.
Sound sleep cometh of sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
So you want to eat better? Listen, eat moderately. Eat moderately. Read on.
He riseth early, and his wits are with him.
Right, you're sharp when you get up. I remember one lardback video we played. The guy says he needs 10 minutes just to kind of slowly in stages just to get out of bed. And that's a lot of y'all that are morbidly obese or overweight. You have that problem, and you can fix it. And you can fix it. It took you years to become obese. It takes weeks and months to reverse it. And there's a lot of prime examples of men in IUIC who are doing it right now. You have no excuse. And like I said, when you're in the hospital, I'll pray for you. I ain't coming to see you because I tried to see you when you had problems. You're going to find out the hard way. Y'all going to find out the friggin' hard way. It's not fun. It's not fun seeing someone hooked up to tubes and you got to pray over them, and you praying to the Lord that He'd fight and get them through. And you got all these doctors coming for the test. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be there. The ICU is a very lonely place. After all your visitors leave, it's a lonely, lonely place. Read on.
But the pain of the watching, but the pain of the watching and choler and pains of the belly are with an insatiable man.
And you're insatiable. Guess what? The opposite is you can control the insatiability by controlling what you eat. It goes back to eat as it becometh a man. Look up healthy keto and intermittent fasting. I implore all of you, if you have health problems, talk to your doctor first. Talk to your doctor first. If you try intermittent fasting and evolve to eating 1 meal a day, healthy keto, which is basically low carb with low carb, a lot of vegetable matter, low sugar fruits. Eat like that. You will be amazed what happens to you. Put me to the test. All right, now, with all the seriousness out of the way, I have a special thing for last, but let us go to the wonderful videos. Now, there are 3. They're fairly short. I would like us to venture to see. Wait a minute. I'm going to tell you right now. Well, I may go over by a minute or 2. Now, I have one called shoe abuse. Now, as you can see here, there is a Nautica shoe that is damn near through because there is a bubble back. That's a lard back on someone's foot. Let's take a look. Play.
Se me fácil, también le sufrí bastante. Caminando por las calles, descalzo, los pies me arden. Le pillé mi sacudito mientras me aguantaba el
That is a lard foot. Okay? And that's probably just the morbidly obese 300-pound woman right there. Anyways, let's move on. What I'd like to do is, I don't want lard work yet. Let's get the creativity of the lard back. This is something very interesting. I'm very happy. It's the same thought process of shoes. The lard back is one of the most creative and has ingenuity to the next level. This is a Latino or Northern Kingdom lard back. Definitely morbidly obese, probably weighing in excess of 315 pounds or more. And look at the revolutionary, innovative skills of the lard back. Play.
You're fat and you can't put your socks on, so you buy this jump rope right here. It's on.
That was too. Play it again. Look at the side view of the lard back.
This is when you're fat and you can't put your socks on, so you buy this jump rope right here.
Now, what I am wondering, is that something that he put 2 holes in a piece of cardboard, and the cardboard then must go below his foot? These are things that the lardback has that perplex me. Now, let's save the best for last. We're going to play a video, and then I wrote a song in about 2 hours. I've written down here. There is a burly, terribly morbidly obese lardback that is taking a mini siesta during the workday. And they're playing an army cadence song called Hard Work, which is a joke saying he's not really not working that hard because the lardback is actually laying down during the day. But I have decided to implement an excellent song of a lardback theme song. Play the video.
Hard work, not another day's work. Hard work.
Start it again, please. Now notice the lardback is not stupid. He did find a large shaded area.
Hard work, not another day's work. Hard work.
So what happened is he said, "Oh, you want to film me, you son of a bitch? I'll just throw a rock at you." Now, that's a 4X he's got on. And in that 4X shirt, you can see the gut. And that gut is something very egregious to look upon. Also disgusting. Play it again, please.
They say, hard work, I earn my pay. Hard work, I get off the rock.
Now, one more time.
Hard work, not another day's work. Hard work, that's what they say. Hard work.
Now, put it on me, please. So, the name of the song is called Hard Work, Wake up about 7:45, hard work. We're going to substitute the word hard work for lard work. And I'm going to have the men in the studio help me. I wrote a couple of bars, okay? Now, I'm going to start off. I would appreciate support in the room. I'll start. Lord, work. Lord, work. Eating the wind. Lord, work. Can't see his chin. Lord, work. Got a big old gut. 6 pizzas at Pizza Hut. Vegetables they don't eat. From broccoli, the lardback retreat. Lardback getting it in. Lord work, gluttony's a sin. Lord work every day. Lardback eat it his way. Got the rhythm, got the groove. Fat people, yeah, they can't move. Freestyling on the mic. Lardback, yeah, break a bike. And I'm Captain Shem, and that's the Lardback Attack. Shalom.
Hey, if you're not a lardback, give alms. If you are a lardback, give alms anyway. Because guess what? It's less food. So if you want to give alms, you can give alms at your local school by dropping it in the alms box in the envelope. Hey, give alms to IUIC New Orleans. You can do so via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. Also, give alms to the Booster Club so we can continue to push this truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth. You can do so via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Also, give to the Land Fund. You can do so via PayPal at israelunite.org. Make sure y'all label it Land Fund. If y'all thought Tabernacles was incredible in Oklahoma, imagine if we had our own land in our own privacy, nobody telling us that we can't make noise after 10. Nobody trying to spy in our liberties. No one trying to get into the gates because it's going to be on our land. Also, imagine Passover, because on that land we can build a building. Imagine Passover to ourselves. All that can happen by y'all's donations. Again, donate via PayPal at israelunite.org, label it land.
All praise to the Most High. Hey, listen, we're going to plug it again. Please subscribe to IUIC New Orleans. Like our videos, share our videos. Please comment. Algorithm has certain formulas that you make. Don't just say, hey, great job. Say some things about the show, some things that are going to help the algorithm. We were trying to grow. Also, when we do I get on Brothers About Help, it is, we take shots and I do these things. But at the end of the day, we have stories of brothers and some sisters, but mainly brothers, who are really transforming their life in months. Brothers who have reversed diabetes too. Brothers have completely gone back and got a clean bill of health from the doctors. Brothers who have reversed parts of tumors, cancerous tumors, because of changing their diet. So we're provoking y'all to work hard and work smart so that you can be around longer, if it be the Lord's will, to do more flyer missions, to edit more videos, to do more camp teaching, to go on different trips, to go on different quest trips, to travel internationally. Don't you have to have a sound body to do these things? And the way you're going to have a sound body is you have to change your mind. Okay, forget the way that Babylon taught you to eat, man. Change your ways about you. So look, we on track tonight. We are damn near right at 2 hours in the nose. We are precept upon precept. We're the hosts. I'm Captain Shim.
Officer Mikha'el.
Officer Micah.
Officer Iran.
And with that, Israel, we say shalom.
I see. Look, I see matches in the kingdom.